Welcome to Cost Saver Conversations. I'm Angela, and I ask the practical questions so you can quickly understand what matters. Today, I'm joined by Assad.
Hi, Angela. We are unpacking Redundancy Payout UK 2025-26, PILON, the $30,000 rule, and the hidden costs that shrink your runway today, and tying it back to the wider cost saver ecosystem, including tools like Redundancy Runway Calculator UK 2025-26, PILON plus 30K, so you can turn insights into action quickly.
Just a heads up before we dive in, we are your synthetic hosts. We are great with numbers, but as AI, we can sometimes be confidently wrong. Think of us as the digital versions of your most knowledgeable, slightly caffeinated friends.
Exactly. Treat this chat as a smart estimate only, not as professional financial guidance. Always check important details with official sources or a qualified expert before making any big decisions.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. So, today we are getting into something that, look, nobody wants to think about this, but if it's happening to you, you really need to understand it. We're talking redundancy payouts, specifically the 2025-26 rules. Assad, welcome back.
Thanks, Angela. Yeah, not exactly a cheerful topic, is it?
No, it really isn't. But okay, so here's the thing. I think most people assume it's pretty straightforward, right? You get your payout, you divide it by your monthly bills, and you know how long you can survive. But you've told me before that's kind of dangerously oversimplified.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that's the dream, just a nice, simple bit of division. But in reality, you've got pylon eating into it, tax rules you didn't expect, lost pension contributions, benefit capital limits. All of these things can genuinely chop months off your runway before you've even updated your LinkedIn profile.
Months, not weeks, months.
Months, yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the big one. The thing everyone's heard from, a colleague or their uncle at Christmas dinner. Don't worry, the first 30 grand is tax-free. Is that actually true?
The uncle at Christmas dinner, yeah. So it is true, technically, but it's only true for a very slice of the payment. And this is where people get into trouble. If you're, say, a higher earner losing a $60,000 role and you budget based on that headline, HMRC can quietly collect, we're talking 4,000 to 6,000 in unexpected tax, which is
Wait, really? That much?
that much. Yeah, because the $30,000 exemption only covers what's called the genuine ex gratia redundancy element. That's the money your employer pays because your role is being cut, not because they already owed it to you under your contract. So statutory redundancy pay sits inside that $30,000 and any enhanced redundancy they choose to add on top.
Right. So the generous bit, the extra they throw in.
Exactly. That's all sheltered. But then everything you were contractually owed anyway, that's outside the shield. Your final salary, accrued holiday you didn't take, any contractual bonus, and, this is the big one, payment in lieu of notice, PILON, all taxed as normal earnings, national insurance on top, the lot.
Okay. And I imagine if you're a higher earner, this gets even worse because of the tax bans.
Oh, absolutely. If your total taxable earnings for the year push you over $50,270, part of that is getting taxed at 40%. And here's something people really don't think about: timing. A payout in March or April behaves completely differently from one in September because of how it lands in your annual tax bands. Where it's negotiable, just shifting your leaving date can be worth £1,000 or more.
Oh, that's not something that would even occur to most people, is it?
No, and it's rarely mentioned, but it's worth asking about.
Okay, so let's dig into Pylon properly because I think that's where a lot of the confusion lives. What actually is it and why does it catch people out?
Sure. So pylon, payment in lieu of notice. Instead of working your notice period, your employer just pays you the equivalent salary and ends your employment right away. And from a cash flow perspective, it feels like a bonus, right? Like, oh, brilliant, extra money in my account. But from a tax perspective, it's just ordinary pay. It's not part of that lovely $30,000 tax-free pot.
So it looks like a bonus, but it's treated like your normal salary.
Exactly. And let me give you an example because this is where it really clicks. Take Sarah from Leeds, marketing manager, $48,000 salary, made redundant in November. 3-month notice period worth $12,000 gross. Her employer offered a $30,000 tax-free redundancy sum, plus $12,000 pylon, plus $2,000 for unused holiday. Sarah, quite reasonably, budgeted for $44,000 hitting her bank account.
Right.
The reality was closer to 38,500 pounds.
Oh, over 5 grand just gone.
Gone. Because the $30,000 redundancy element was tax-free, as expected, but that $12,000 pylon and the $2,000 holiday pay both taxed at her marginal rate plus employee NI. For a basic rate taxpayer, that $14,000 of taxable stuff might net down to roughly 9,500 pounds. And if your higher rate or the lump sum pushes you into that bracket, it's even steeper. People losing $3,000 to $5,000 more than they expected, that's not unusual at all.
That's kind of terrifying, honestly. So, what do you actually do to avoid that shock?
Ask your employer for a written breakdown of every single line item. Get them to label each one, taxable or non-taxable. If HR can't or won't do that, ACAS and Citizens Advice can help you interpret the settlement agreement before you sign. It takes about 10 minutes to request, and it can save you weeks of confusion. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. And I suppose the awkwardness of asking is worth it when we're talking about thousands of pounds.
Definitely worth a slightly awkward email.
Now, you also mentioned something PNP, the anti-avoidance formula?
Oh yeah, post-employment notice pay. So this is HMRC's way of making sure nobody tries to dress up notice pay as a tax-free termination payment. Even if your contract doesn't have a pylon clause and your employer pays you in lieu anyway, HMRC will still calculate a notional pylon figure and tax it. You can't sidestep it just because the contract is silent. Trying to be clever here, it rarely ends well.
Fair enough. Don't try to outsmart HMRC. But despite all the tax, is Pylon ever actually the better option?
Yeah, it can be, especially if you've already lined up another job. It ends your employment cleanly, releases you to start elsewhere immediately. No more sitting at your desk in that weird limbo where everyone knows you're leaving. And actually, it can let you start claiming job seekers allowance or universal credit sooner, because working your notice delays that earliest claim date, which matters if the payout isn't as generous as you'd hoped.
Huh. Okay, that's actually reassuring in a way. Now, hidden costs. You mentioned these earlier, and I want to get into them because I think this is where people's runway calculations really fall apart.
Yeah, this is the stuff that quietly eats your money while you're not looking. First one, lost employer pension contributions. If your employer was paying, say, 8% into your pension and you were paying 5%, that's 13% of your salary just vanishing overnight. Someone on 45,000 pounds over a year of job hunting, that's around 5,850 pounds in lost pension building.
Right, and that doesn't hurt you today, but
It absolutely hurts your retirement runway. It's a silent cost. Then there's workplace benefits disappearing. Private medical, life cover, income protection, gym memberships, season ticket loans, staff discounts, all gone on your leaving date. And replacing even some of that on the open market, private medical cover for a family of 4 can easily run 150 to 250 pounds a month.
Wow, okay. And then there's the actual cost of finding a new job, which I bet people completely underestimate.
Routinely. A realistic figure is 500 to 1,500 pounds over a 3 to 6 month search, more if you're changing sector. Interview clothes, dry cleaning, travel, LinkedIn premium, job board subscriptions, CV writing, career coaching, training courses, networking events. I mean, job hunting is itself a job. I'd say build a search budget of about 100 to 200 pounds a month into your figures. Stops you raiding your rent money for a train ticket to an interview.
that's really practical. And I suppose being at home all day isn't free either.
No, higher energy bills, often $30 to $60 extra a month in winter. More food at home instead of a subsidized canteen. And look, let's be honest, the psychological pull of small treats to make it all feel less bleak. You know, a coffee here, a takeaway there. You need to track that honestly rather than assuming your spending will magically drop. It often doesn't.
Yeah, the I deserve this purchases. What about tax on savings interest? Is that a thing people need to worry about?
It can be. If your payout's sitting in a savings account earning 4% to 5%, you might exceed your personal savings allowance. That's $1,000 for basic rate, $500 for higher rate, zero for additional rate taxpayers. It's not massive, but it catches people out.
Okay. Now, universal credit. This is where I think things get properly complicated. How does a big lump sum interact with benefits?
This is where well-meaning planning just falls apart. Universal credit is means-tested on capital. The 2025-26 rules work in three tiers. Below 6,000, ignored. Between 6,000 and 16,000, your UC gets reduced by $4.35 a month for every $250 above 6 grand. And 16,000 or more, you lose entitlement completely.
So a 40,000-pound payout just disqualifies you.
Until you spend it down, yeah. Now, New Style Job Seekers Allowance, that's based on NI contributions, not capital, might still be available for up to 6 months if you've got enough NI record. Definitely worth checking in your first week after leaving. But here's the big warning. Do not deliberately spend down a payout to qualify for UC. Don't pay off a chunk of your mortgage or give money to family. DWP has deprivation of capital rules, and they'll treat the money as if you still have it.
Oh, wow. So
They'll assess you as if you never spent it. Legitimate spending on normal bills, essential repairs, reasonable pension contributions, all fine. But trying to game the system, they've seen it all before.
Good to know. So, okay, someone's got their payout, they understand the tax picture, they know about the hidden costs. What should they actually do with the money, like practically?
Right, so before anything else, build a realistic runway. Write down 3 numbers. Your true take-home after tax on the entire package, your true monthly outgoings, including all those hidden costs we just talked about, and the minimum realistic time to find a comparable role in your sector. And be honest, not optimistic. Multiply outgoings by time, check it against your take-home. If there's a gap, you need a plan before you sign the settlement, not after.
Before you sign, not after.
Before. Then, priority 1, I call it the boring cash buffer. 3 to 6 months of essential spending in an easy access savings account, FSCS protected. If it's over $85,000, split it across providers. This is the difference between negotiating your next role on your terms versus grabbing the first offer that appears.
And then once that buffer's in place?
Priority 2, tax-efficient wrappers. Fill your ISA allowance, $20,000 for 2025-26, so future growth is tax-free. Consider pension contributions with the taxable slice to reclaim income tax at your marginal rate. Lifetime ISA if you're under 40 and thinking about a first home. And priority 3, and I cannot stress this enough, don't rush into anything permanent.
Go on.
Redundancy is emotional. Decisions made in the first fortnight are almost always the ones people regret. Don't pay off a low-rate mortgage in one go. Don't invest lump sums before you know how long the job hunt will take. Don't start a business on a whim. Don't buy a car or a kitchen or a holiday to treat yourself out of the shock. Give yourself at least a month of doing nothing dramatic. The money will still be there when you have a clear head.
I love that. Do nothing dramatic. And you had a tip about 2 accounts?
Yeah, set up 2 accounts. One holds the runway you'll need for the next 12 months. The other holds anything above that. Only touch the second account after you've got a firm job offer or a documented plan. It takes about 15 minutes to set up online, and honestly, this one thing prevents most redundancy money regrets.
That's really smart. Now, you mentioned settlement agreements earlier. Should people get legal advice on those?
Yes, and your employer will normally pay for it. Settlement agreements are only binding if you've had independent legal advice, so the cost is baked into the process. Don't sign without it.
And what about if the employer offers a bigger payout to leave quickly? That sounds tempting.
Take time to run the numbers. A 5,000-pound uplift sounds generous, but after tax, it might only be worth $3,000 net. And that could actually be less than you'd get by insisting on your full contractual notice plus statutory redundancy. So don't just grab it, do the maths first.
I hadn't thought about it like that. One more thing. I think some people worry that claiming benefits will somehow show up to future employers. Is that a real concern?
No. New Style JSA and Universal Credit claims are not visible to employers. There's no stigma in modern recruitment. You paid national insurance for exactly this situation. Use it.
Huh, fair enough. Okay, Assad, let's do a quick recap for everyone. What are the things people absolutely need to remember?
All right, so the $30,000 tax-free rule is real, but it only covers the genuine redundancy element. Pylon, holiday pay, bonuses, all taxable. Ask for a written breakdown before you sign anything. Factor in the hidden costs, lost pension contributions, workplace benefits disappearing, job hunting expenses, higher bills at home. Watch the universal credit capital limits, $16,000 or more and you're disqualified. Don't deliberately spend down to game the system. Build a boring cash buffer first, use tax-efficient wrappers second, and make no big decisions for at least a month. Set up two accounts and get legal advice on your settlement agreement. Your employer pays for it. Have I explained that clearly?
Crystal clear. And honestly, the people who come through redundancy in decent shape are the ones who understand their true net position on day one, right?
Exactly. Protect a proper cash buffer, resist big decisions until you've got an offer in hand, and remember, the difference between a comfortable runway and a nervy one is almost always the boring details, not the headline number. Take an hour with your settlement paperwork and actually run the figures. It's not glamorous advice, but it works.
It really does. Assad, thank you. That was incredibly useful. And everyone, will link the redundancy runway calculator in the show notes so you can run your own numbers. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Quick side note, this guide connects with other cost saver blogs, especially Help to Buy Equity Loan and RPI Fees, MP Cost of Living Scorecard Guide, and Train Delay Repay Calculator Guide.
Exactly. And reading those together helps you connect the dots across your household budget, not just this one topic in isolation.
And if you want to apply this immediately, jump into tools like Redundancy Runway Calculator UK 2025/26, Pylon plus 30K right after this episode.
Primary sources used here include gov.uk, Redundancy Payout Tax, and Money Saving Expert, so you can verify the data yourself and stay evidence-led.
That wraps this cost saver conversation with Angela and Assad. If this helped, share it with someone who could put these ideas to work this week.
Your next step is simple. Try Redundancy Runway Calculator UK 2025/26 Pylon plus 30K, then read Help to Buy Equity Loan and RPI Fees and use them together to take action today.